Friends, I am Vijay Singh, and I come to you with the second episode of our rich repository of rural mathematical riddles. And before I begin, I would like to acknowledge support from two people, Ranjana Pathak and Akshat Mishra. India has a vast and vibrant or has a tradition of oral culture. We have songs, we have ballads, we have stories of princesses and demons. We have songs for every occasion and for every season. But we also have a rich repertoire of riddles, these 2 or 4 liner puzzles. And there's a subset of it which I will describe, and these are mathematical riddles told in rural India over a fireplace, okay, sitting around a fire on a wintry night. Okay, so you can transform yourself to that domain, to that world which is almost dying now. So this is a map of India. It's a medieval map. You can see I'll move my cursor to a place called Kusumpura, which is now modern day Patna. The great Indian mathematician Aryabhat lived there 1500 years ago. And just north of it is the Bhojpur region from where these puzzles are. Okay. But before I present them, I would like to share one non-mathematical puzzle from South India and from Tamil Nadu. Otarai Kalil Aduvan, Oindu Ponal Padupan, excuse my bad Tamil. The translation reads, she twirls around on one leg, the whirling stops, she falls down. What is she? And the answer to it is she the top. Okay, when the top is spinning, it is upright. When it stops spinning or slows down, it falls. Okay. So in a backhanded way or a tenuous way, it's an acknowledgement of a physics principle, angular momentum conservation. So let me now turn to mathematical puzzles, and let me begin with a brain teaser. Okay. I will first, and these things have to be necessarily in the vernacular first, or because they were all in the vernacular language. However, I will translate them in English for you. एक सुपारी उस पर 2 चोट मारी, हर चोट के 2 टुकड़े, बताओ कितने टुकड़े? A hammer blow on a hard nut, give pieces 2. So 1 blow and you get 2 pieces. So how many pieces for 2 blows on the self same hard nut? So what happens if you give 2 blows? You might be tempted to think that the answer is 4 because 2 pieces per blow. But I remember my grand aunt telling me with a twinkling in her eye that when you make 2 pieces, the second blow of the hammer can only fall on one of the pieces. So the answer is 3 and it's not 4. Let me continue. Okay. The most of these problems have to be solved not by some deep knowledge of mathematics. You can, of course, do it, perhaps, but by Baithaki approach. The Baithaki approach means by trial and error. The word Baithana means to do it by trial and error, by guesswork, by clawing towards a solution with the most elementary and rudimentary mathematics. Okay, so we have to adopt that kind of an approach. Here is one from a rural grocery store. There is a grocer, a poor one, okay, a shopkeeper, and he asks the following question. This is in a word form, prose form. What is the minimum number of weights and their values so that I can weigh, okay, grains? I can weigh out grains to people in integral numbers from 1 to 40 kg. And if someone comes at 17 kg, I can weigh it out to him. Someone comes at 31 kg demand, I can weigh that out to him. Someone with a 5 kg demand, I can do that. So since I am poor, tell me how many weights do I need and what their values ought to be. I shall not leave you in suspense. I shall give you the answer, but then in return, I will pose a similar puzzle to you, which you have to answer. Okay, the minimum number is 4, and the weights have to be 1, 3, 9, and 27. Let's try it out with two weights. I'm a customer. I ask for 19 kg. How do I do it? So I go, I say I want, say I weigh 27, okay, 27. I put 27 on one scale. I put 9 on the other along with the grain. Okay, so that will be 27 minus 9, which is 18. And then I put 1 more kg on the 27 scale. Okay, so that makes it 19. Try it out. Any number, any integer, any positive integer, any natural number between 1 and 40, with these 4 numbers, you can arrive at it. Okay, by addition and subtraction. Addition is when you add it to the other side of the weighing machine, and subtraction is when you add it to the grain side or the negative side of the balance machine. Now, since you have to, you will not get this answer. I've already given the answer to you, like spoon feeding, you would say. Let me ask you the following question. If I needed one from not 40, but say 81, 1 to 81, how many weights would I need, and what would their values be? Try answering it. Next one is, once again, if you recall episode 1, it's like the fixed point problem. In nonlinear physics or in statistical mechanics, okay, you have a variable or a Hamiltonian, and when you do a large number of transformations on it, you arrive back at the same number. Okay, you arrive back at the same variable, value of the variable. Okay, this is also in prose form, so let me read it out to you. There is a magic lake which on dipping doubles the number of flowers. The 3 corners of the magic lake have a temple each. A devotee plucks some flowers. Say, let's say, just to keep our ideas clear, he plucks, say, 10 flowers, dips it in the lake so it becomes double the number, so it becomes 20, and offers a few at the first temple, say 5, so it becomes 15. He dips it again, so then that 15 becomes 30, and offers the same number of 5 flowers at the second temple. Okay. And then he repeats the act at the third temple. After the offering at the 3 temples, he has no flowers left. So how many flowers did he pluck? So this is the answer. The final answer has to be 0, and you have to supply and work this through once again by trial and error, by the Baitaki method, okay? By actually working it out. So you have a number of kids all working together and trying to figure out how it is possible. Some of them work together and arrive at the answer faster, okay? So I will give you the answer to this, but then I will pose another puzzle to you as a penalty, which you have to answer in your spare time. Okay. The answer is, he plucks 7 flowers, dips it in the first lake, so it becomes 14, offers 8, so it becomes 6, dips it in the lake, so it becomes 12, offers the same 8, so it becomes 4, dips it in the third lake, once again in the lake, so it becomes 4, becomes 8, and offers all 8 of them at the third temple, and he's left with 0 flowers. Okay. Interesting, wouldn't you say? And you do it by the Baitaki method, as I said. For you now, if there were 4 temples, and I repeated this problem, and the devotee is left with no flowers in the end, how many did she pluck? The third one comes from Mithilanchal, the place where the Princess Sita was born. Okay. There was a very famous king there called Brijbhan. In the fabled land of Mithila, the necklace of the darling daughter of King Brijbhan came apart. The pearls scattered. Okay. So it is like this necklace here. Okay. It came apart because she had a quarrel with her paramour or lover, and these pearls came apart. The lover, of course, he was a common man and a thief, in fact. He stole a fifth. Half fell to the floor. 37 fell on her gown. 63 on her bed. 70 was stolen by her girlfriends. I mean, they were also quite crooked. So how many pearls made up the necklace? Certainly much more than what you see over here. Okay. The interesting thing, I'll tell you, there are two interesting things about it. This problem is hard to do. Okay. You So what would be done for us? I mean, if you are a kind person, if you're a kind grandparent, which they always were, you would suggest certain answers to us, and then the kids try to work it out. Okay. So but the more interesting part is the following. It's in verse form. It is not in prose form. And let me just read it out to you just for the rhythm of it. एक समय ब्रजभान दुलारी की हार मिथिला में टूट गई रे, अर्ध भाग भूमि पर गिरियो, प्रिय पंचम भाग चुराई लियो रे, 37 अंचल, 37 on her gown, सेज 63, okay, 63 on the bed, 70 सखियन ने लूट लियो रे, कहो कितने मोतियन का हार भयो रे. Okay, so it is in Mithila, partly Bhojpuri language. Okay. And there's another interesting part to it. Of course, let me suggest some answers to you and you can work it out. Once again, you can take these numbers down. Okay. You can try 300, 380, 400, 425, 450, 500. Try any one of these. One of them is right. Okay. All right. But there's another interesting thing. This is to be found in the Mithila region, and of course, since my village is on the border of Mithila and Bhojpur, we heard about it. But 1,000 years earlier, this similar sounding riddle was posed as a mathematical algebraic problem by the great Jain mathematician Mahaviracharya from Karnataka. So it's actually something which is taken from Karnataka all the way to, it's traveled all across India, and of course getting lost somewhere, but in some form or the other. And finally, someone in Mithila decided to make a poetry out of this. Okay, and see how it reads in his prose. He says, one night in the month of spring, a certain charming young lady, blah, 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 was lovingly happy along with her husband. And it goes on and on as how there were sweet sounds of parrot, cuckoos, and bees, which were intoxicated with honey obtained from the flowers in that garden. So everything is put in a very flowery and nice language by Mahaviracharya. And then a lover quarrel rose between the couple. The lady's necklace made of pearls became sundered and the pearls fell helter-skelter. Okay. And then it goes on, and this is a different kind of algebraic problem. I mean, the idea is the same, of course, but this is how it reads by Mahaviracharya all the way back in 850 Common Era. That's about 1,000 years ago. So India, in that sense, mathematically speaking, is one. Okay, and people who say that India is 20, I think needs, at least from a mathematics history point of view, it's hard to buy that. Okay. Final one is once again my favorite because it invokes Aryabhat. Okay, I'll read out the Hindi first. Bhains paseri, gaay duseri, bakari pawa, uni se chawwa, ek man doodh. Now these three kinds of animals give milk. The buffalo yields 9, the cow 2 kg, 9 kg, 2 kg, the goat a quarter. There are 19 of them altogether. There are 19 of these animals. But 40 kg my master needs. How many have I of each of these? Okay. So you have to answer this question. You'll try to set up an equation, of course, if you're smart enough, or if you're mathematically inclined, but try the Bhaitaki method. Because try as you might, if you set up the equation, you will have three unknowns, the number of buffaloes, cows, and goats, and you have only two equations. And the answer must be an integer, so that helps a little bit. Okay, in getting the answer. It's an example of integer value. It's important in cryptography. Such problems are important, I can assure you. And it was first solved by Aryabhat by the Kuttaka or the fragmentation method. Okay. It's therefore not very surprising that such puzzles, which involve more unknowns than equations, were being posed in rural India at least 30, 40 years ago, or I would say 50, 60 years ago, when I was a kid. Okay. So with that, I remind you that these puzzles were actually part of a very rich oral tradition which is dying out, and therefore this is a legacy from our grandparents and this is the treasure that I will bequeath to my grandsons. Okay. You could write to me at this following address, physics.sutra, or this will be put up on the YouTube. A paper similar to this is on my ResearchGate profile, and there will be more episodes besides the second episode. Thank you.